What's going on, Netrunner fans? This is Shomar here, back again with the third round of the Legends Warehouse Toronto Regionals 2015 that featured 34 players, mostly from the Toronto region. Today I'm lucky, I'm joined here by my good friend Tim, and he is also a Toronto player slash Whitby teammate of mine.
What's up, guys?
So this match is myself versus Chris from Hamilton, Ontario. I'm playing Engineering the Future, and Chris is playing Kate.
So what was your score going into this round? Or your record, I mean?
In this round, I was at a split. This is technically round 2, so I was at 1-1 at this point. And Chris actually had the same record, so I wasn't paired up with him.
Alright, looks like you're deciding over your hands. So you see Kate across from you. You're probably expecting some sort of prepaid build.
Yeah, so my first thought was that he was going to be playing prepaid. And again, because it's Kate and because it's Shaper, it was a pretty easy decision to ice over R&D to avoid any kind of early digs and ensure that I get that one ETF credit. So it's a double install. I drew once, I believe, and then pass the turn over to Chris.
And there's a prepaid.
Yep, prepaid is out already. So that was his first click, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty easy keep anytime you see that. And he's going to play the event right here. I think I saw a lucky find. There it is, yep.
There's a lucky find. So that's clicks 2 and 3. And then his last click is to Diesel.
Fantastic opening hand.
He got pretty lucky there, but I don't think his hand was as good as mine was, or at least that's what I thought at the time. So my first click is to install and create a new remote server, dropping an asset down there as well, and gaining my ETF credit for the turn.
Looks like he's got another, yep. Oh, it's a Visage, okay.
The early baby face.
It's so hard not to use it after you install it.
I didn't think that he would be playing Babyface out of Shaper because they have so many options for draw already. I guess it is cheaper than Professional Contacts, but I think, especially in Kate, when card slots are so limited already, I don't know if I'd go for the Babyface. Unless he only has one copy of it. I'd have to see his deck there.
That's true. Probably Dirty Laundry and Archives, I'm assuming. Get free money.
Yep.
So here you have an asset, but you're choosing not to res it yet. Are you doing it for the bluff, or just waiting for a better time here?
If I'm not mistaken, I couldn't res it at the time. So what I was trying to do was just to continue to get my money up before committing to anything too early. Even though he didn't really have anything across the board that would threaten that server, realistically, I kind of decided to wait on it there. So that was a hedge fund, a draw, and then install and upgrade into that remote server.
Nice. Looks like Chris will face check R&D and lose a click to Enigma.
Second click is the babyface draw, getting him a credit and a card. And as everybody says, anytime you can use a click in Netrunner to do two things at once, it's a click very well used. And he goes for the Dirty Laundry on Archives again.
Yeah, I think okay, no SMC so far, but still, he's got a lot of money. That looks like, I haven't been keeping track, but
it looks like
well into the double digits.
Yeah, I think he plays 6s. I usually only do 5s for that reason. So it looks like he might be at 17 or 18 credits.
Now, so you've got a super stacked server here, not in terms of ice, but with the upgrades. And he's got to feel threatened by that at some point. I mean, he tried to face check R&D. He lost a click to it. He's not checking the hand. So he's got to think at some point something very valuable will be going down in that remote.
And I think because so many Torsog players, Toronto and Mississauga players, have been playing the ETF build, he has a good idea of what would be in that server: Breaker Bays, Caprices, Ashes. And I think that's why he's not too crazy on running at it yet, because I haven't really given him any indication that I'm trying to do anything with that server at this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should mention this regionals took place after another Toronto regionals where the winner, Victor, was using ETF, and the deck's been out for, I really don't know who's the creator, whatever. I really have a hard time keeping track of who makes these decks, so I apologize. I'm not giving proper credit where it's due, but Victor was playing an ETF deck where, again, Breaker Bay, resing assets for free, basically. Just make loads of money, Caprice, Ash, and then just score a good old-fashioned way.
And we know that the deck is strong because not only did Victor win the last regional with that deck, both corps in the final of this tournament were actually both playing ETF as well.
Yes, yep.
And the same type of ETF build. So recap of my last turn was to install a second piece of ice over that remote server, not having to pay for it because of ETS ability, so I came out there pretty even. So Chris goes to install the Data Sucker for a cost of 0 due to Kate's ability.
We see the SMC. He's not going to throw it down. Oh, he's at the end of his turn. Looks like he's chucking cards.
So chuck his Scavenge.
So the SMC is there, but you've also double iced your remote in a timely fashion, so... And chucking a Maker's Eye. But he's probably, being this is a prepaid deck, he's got same old thing.
Yeah, but I think you actually already played one on the table. Yeah, there's one right there.
Oh, there it is, yep.
Face.
Now you're rezzing. Oh, you're trashing. Never mind. So can we safely assume that's an agenda here?
So that's the agenda there. If I'm not mistaken, that card that I trashed was actually an Eve campaign, and I didn't want to spend the money rezzing Eve myself because I was unable to find my Breaker Bay. So that's an install and double advance in the remote.
Alright, Chris has to throw it on. Yeah, there's the SMC. We knew that was coming. Now, can he get through 2 pieces of ice? We know he's got the money.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a test run in the hand? We can't quite see it. An admin. Okay, is the blind install?
The blind admin install.
We always say against HP, admin 4, and
Admin
he's
4.
choosing
2. So he's going at the Enigma.
Okay. Oh, I just saw that card. We all saw it. It's...
Indexing.
Yep. He's hesitating a bit. So, I guess what he's considering is he's conceding the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
He's not putting you on any sort of trap. He's not... He doesn't think you're doing any of that nonsense. Mm-hmm. So he's going to concede that. He's expecting you to triple advance. It's a 5 for 3. And then he's just going to control your card flow for the next couple of turns.
Right.
Assuming you don't have Jackson and you can draw through an indexing.
And because it's his only click, he's probably hoping to hit multiple agendas here, and then same old thing with that Maker's Eye that he just taught.
Yes. His first click was install SMC. Yep, you're absolutely right. He has enough clicks to go back in.
It's on the very bottom, the Mimic. And I'm assuming he's only playing 1 copy out of Shaper. So that was a very, very lucky SMC there.
We always say don't check, but when it's like that, then you're glad you used the SMC. So $2 Architect, $2 for Enigma, and you're just gonna hand him 5 cards.
It's always the worst feeling seeing those 5 cards go and watching your opponent juggle through them and decide.
Yeah, we'll watch their facial reactions like, oh, I see. This is what you put in your deck. Very interesting. Good choice.
So much intel.
Now, this turn did drain him a lot. That was 4 credits.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, he probably had to pay full 5 for the Mimic because he had to install the SMC, and that expires Kate's ability.
Right.
So Mimic is 5, and then Atman was also 5.
Because he put it at 2,
right?
strength.
Oh, wait, if he installed Atman first, then technically he got the discount there. Either way, the discount of 1 still is not exactly... He's pretty poor now,
mm-hmm.
So
it's taking a while looking at those 5 cards, which means, to me anyways, that it's not the most successful of indexings, 1, and 2, he probably hit NAPD because he has to consider how much money he's going to have getting back in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're saying, well, things Maker's Eye, the prepaid is there, so it'll only cost him 1 credit for the Maker's Eye. He still needs 4 to break.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I mean, he's turning it.
And there's this
Oh, it's another one in
hand.
hand. Even better. Save the same old thing. So only had to pay one. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So the flip side is when your opponent's considering so long on the indexing is because wow, there's so much good stuff.
Yeah, I remember my stomach turning a bit at that point, feeling like my hopes were going down the tube.
Now you're not going to score out here.
I decided not to because my money was so low and I didn't want to leave myself too open.
Okay.
So it was an install, advance once.
Do you have the hedge fund? No, you're just going to take it back.
Credit back.
Okay. You drew your hedge funds pretty fast, which is fantastic. But he's also broke now too.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a visage draw. But I mean, Chris can really sit back here. Yes.
Very
fantastic,
nice.
Fantastic. That's just drawing everything he needs at the right time.
So
I mean, he's winning 5 points to 0. So
yeah, so he has a lot of time to build himself back up while I'm struggling to catch up to where he's at. So.
Yeah. Again, he might be conceding that one agenda, so we can really say 5-2, 5-3.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see right here. It's another 3-pointer, so 5-3. But he knew that.
So I score out, and I get to res the toll booth for free, which is huge for me. Bringing the score to 5-3. And 4 credits here. I remember thinking that I was wondering where the heck all of my breaker bays were, because my economy was going so slowly, and there wasn't really too much that I could do at this point. So it was kind of just trying to scrape back and get enough money to remain competitive with him and allow myself to keep resing ice.
Mm-hmm. So you decide to trash the Enigma there, and yes, it's relatively worthless with admin on it. But did you feel that it just wasn't worth it to even tax the 2 credits? I guess if he runs last click, it's only a tax of 1 credit.
The reason why I did it is because I know that with the Enigma 2 out there, he feels like he can get in whenever he wants. And I just kind of wanted to get that on the table, have him think that there's a chance that it might be something that he cannot break, that I could still afford. And having 4 credits is more than enough to res something like an Eli or any number of other ice that he can't get through. So
right,
just kind of to deter him.
He doesn't care. Okay.
So he runs into the wraparound, which is at 7 strength because he doesn't have a barrier breaker out.
But that's a good play too. I mean, on both your parts, you put out an ice that you can easily afford and defend. Mm-hmm. But he knows he can check. He has sucker counters. He has a sentry breaker.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, his worst fears are basically just end the run, and that's exactly what you did. No big deal. He probably wishes he could have checked the remote too, knowing now that there's no way you could have resed toll booth, but he decided to apply the pressure on R&D and he got 5 points for it. So
very true.
You can't even be upset about that. Now you're running low on money.
I'm low on money. He just created or installed an astrolabe, so now I'm going to be more reluctant to make new servers.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him to see more cards for free. So my turn was just to take 3 credits and flip the turn back to him.
Yep. Fantastic console. Very, very kind of generic console for any shaper runner.
Mm-hmm.
But
especially with this meta now where all the corps are playing more horizontally.
Yes.
It's very good. So he runs that archives just to keep me honest.
He's putting that as Jackson in the second unprotected remote probably.
So he runs at the HQ and clicks by.
What do you think about that? Losing 3 clicks for, I don't want to call it a pot shot, but it is 1 in 5.
I think the reason why he did it, if I remember correctly, going back to the indexing draw, he did see 3 agendas.
Oh,
however,
okay.
One of them was NAPD, which he couldn't afford.
So he buries that one, puts the 2 that he can steal.
Right. And he made the comment when I drew the NAPD. We kind of both chuckled a bit as I drew it because he couldn't afford to take it. So he knows that there's at least one still in my hand. I think that's why he ran the archives.
Then that is a brilliant play. And I mean, you got to try, right?
So
now I know he. Oh, sorry, another install there. So now he's got a question: is that the NAPD? Now there is a scavenge in his trash, in his discard. I'm wondering if he has another one in hand, or if he'll same old thing, scavenge the Atman to Atman 4, which again is like we say, that's usually the default against HP. It puts it in a very comfortable position with 12 with 2. It just requires one sucker counter.
And that's why I was really surprised when he went for the Atman 2 versus the Atman 4, but it did end up paying off for him majorly. So
yeah, I guess he only drew the one SMC. Of course, if he could SMC his actual code gate breaker, kind of like that SMC right there, then he would have done that. But we'll see. Again, I know for sure the scavenge is in there, so
he drops the SMC, goes for the babyface to give himself another credit and a card.
I think he wants to run, but I think he needs cards right now. He's not seeing enough tools from his deck. If he puts you on a new agenda that you just drew and dropped there, he's going to have to concede that too, and he's going to be looking at 5/5. Yeah, he just needs cards right now.
So that's what he does. He draws up and takes money.
So now, did you install a 3/2 there? We're going to find out.
I was hurting pretty badly at this point. And I was very reluctant to actually score anything because I didn't have much money, and I was still worried about him getting through my servers too easily. So I was just trying to bluff him, or at least keep him thinking that I didn't have much to hide. So
okay, there's a new install. Oh, Chris, don't forget your Astrolabe draw. You're hurting for cards right now. And looks like he's not doing it. That's unfortunate.
So he does forget.
Oh, these things happen. Okay, right now, centrals are pretty wide open. Oh, he has it in hand, my god.
So the Cerebrus comes out, which drops that wraparound to 0.
The only thing it's good for is eating counters at this point. And I mean, he can choose HQ, which is hardly anything. A credit and a counter is fantastic value for beating Eli. Same old thing, Maker's Eye? Is it that time? He's just going for it?
I think you're right.
Maker's Eye, yep.
And I remember thinking at this point, yeah, this game's pretty much over. Let's just move on to the next one.
Adonis, Lotus Field, Breaker Bay.
That I've been looking for all game.
And he doesn't trash it, okay. He's fairly poor for prepaid Kate standards, I guess. I mean, he is only using 1 die, so I guess we can say that's pretty poor. And here comes HQ, because again, he knows NAPD's there.
Right.
And he's going to use the data cipher counter, so it doesn't even have to spend a credit. Okay, couldn't find it.
He's the architect. And so at that point, I did still have NAPD in my hand, 100%. And I was very, very lucky that he wasn't able to scoop it out of my hand.
Oh, you did it on the side.
I did it on the side because I didn't want him to think. I wanted him to think that it was an Adonis or an Eve campaign,
or even Jackson, because he remember the first time you uninstalled or installed a naked remote, he ran archives immediately. He just assumed that was Jackson. And hey, man, these are the things you got to do. If your opponent doesn't check, you do something like that. I wonder if he's going to check that one now.
I think at this point he's forced to, because it could be for the win.
Yeah. Or no, see, he knows he needs tools. I wonder what he's looking for. Yeah, there he goes. He checks. Eve campaign.
And that one is the Eve.
Oh, man. So he's drawing up a storm. And he's probably looking for the code gate breaker?
To get through.
In case he needs to threaten the toll booth server.
Right.
Which is unfortunate because he had an SMC, but he overwrote it with Cerberus, knowing he didn't have the memory. So I guess we'd have to go back and check the money, but he couldn't have popped the SMC first, install his decoder. I don't know what he's running, and then install Cerberus. That is a lot of money, though, so maybe that's why he couldn't do it.
It is. That would have been very, very expensive for him.
All right, so here we go. This is threatening match point right here.
Right. So this was the install that I had a few turns previously. I left it there so that you'd think it was maybe a Caprice or an Ash, and waited pretty much for an opportunity to advance and score for the win. So he runs and sees an Adonis campaign.
All right, get some burst money. Does he have a test run Fem up his sleeve? Can he scavenge the admin? These are his options. I mean, Shaper, you have a whole slew of tools, but and he's been drawing up a storm, and we can't see his hand. The suspense is mounting. And yeah, like we said, okay, he's building sucker tokens. He's going to use the admin net too.
I think that's his best option at this point.
Yeah. Oh, that's so unfortunate that he had to just... He had the SMC, and then he didn't actually use it, because he just drew into Cerberus. Parasite.
Parasite on the toll booth. Now this, we had to call the judge over, because he thought that by having Parasite and Data Sucker tokens, he wouldn't lose the 3 credits on the toll booth. But you have to encounter the ice prior to using the Data Sucker tokens.
Yes, correct, yeah.
So
He must lose 3.
Right.
He can still do what he wants to do, which is kill Parasite. And there's the left hand of Dean Tran, tournament organizer, Rochester Regionals winner. I think he was 4th place at the first round regionals, Harry Tarantula.
So he does get rid of the toll booth, but loses the $3. And
so it's all down to this ice.
A Turing, which cannot be broken by AI.
Oh my goodness.
So regardless of that $3 that he lost, he still couldn't get through that server unless
What
he
a
had
server.
the clicks.
What a server. Oh man. And you've got 3 credits and 3
Just
clicks.
enough
Scored out for the win.
NAPD for the win.
Well played.
It was an interesting game, man. I had to kind of play all over the place, and because of the time constraints, because this is actually the second game before the first one, I kind of had to rush it out because at this point Dean had made the call that there were 3 minutes left. So we had to go.
Probably play the game is when you have that naked ABT, it looks like, out in the unprotected remote, and you just didn't check.
And we did talk about that afterwards, how that was a huge play. And because it was under 3 minutes left and it was basically for the win for him, that's exactly why he didn't want to check that server.
Yep.
So he didn't think that I would actually try to pull that one out in that fashion.
Yeah. And these are the mind games that have to happen.
And that is...
If you don't think he's going to check, then you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.